All right. Hey guys, welcome to well, I guess it's week 2B, right? It's the B call for the 7 a.m. class for this last week's 2. And so we're going to be covering today, really making sure you guys are getting really clear on your unique voice, right? So the first 2 weeks of class was really about you discovering your true voice and putting your story into a video and putting your story into writing. And we do this for a couple reasons, because when we begin to identify with our story, with the vulnerability that we have and our uniqueness that we're going to share with our customer, we then begin to create and define what our actual brand is. You know, many people get confused because they think their brand is an image. Well, on the contrary, right? Our brand, guys, is about our core message of who we and how we are going to connect, relate, and really focus on what our customers' needs are and the problems we can solve for them. So how we start that off is we really begin with what our story is. And so the first week you guys went through your story and you did it in video or you did it in writing, and then you went back and edited it. Okay, so many of you guys did your story, you went back, I shared with you how to write out your circles, right? Which is going through your story, watching it again and circling, like putting a timeline and circling and writing in at those circles, what were those important parts that you felt should be impactful and included in your video story so that you can begin to relate to your customer. Then we wrote it out. We actually physically wrote out our stories so that now we're not only connecting with those that are visual, right? That those that want to, or audible, that want to watch and listen to a story, but also those that really would rather read it, right? That they want to read the words. And we do this for two reasons. Certainly because there's two different people we're going to connect with, but more importantly, guys, it's about you. And so what I always like for everyone to do in the first 2 weeks, you seem like sometimes you're going a little slow, right? Because you're like, gosh, I'm just doing my story. Well, we're going to really start ramping it up because your story is really the whole core of everything that we're going to be doing with you in your branding. And really the branded image comes at the end. It's funny because I almost look at it like a puzzle, right? Where what we're doing right now is we're building from the inside out, which is kind of unusual for puzzles, right? We typically go from the outside rim and go in. Well, what we start when we're really identifying what our brand is we start from the inside. We actually go inside, really get internal about us, what our stories are about, what our vulnerabilities, and what are the parts of who we are that we want to share with our customer. And then as we emerge that through video and through writing your story out, as you now, starting this week, are going to begin a video series and a post series, okay, with a theme. So what's going to happen is as now our unique voice is coming out, as we're telling our stories, as we're beginning to shoot videos, is now people are going to really start identifying with you. And what happens, you start to see what your common theme is, what your core message is. Because we start to find, as we tell our story, we always hit a few of the really important parts that relate to our customer. So today what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to go back through, I'm going to talk to you guys about your stories. I'm going to show you how to visually edit them so that your customers want to keep reading. Okay, because some people write them out and they really aren't as visibly appealing. Then we're going to go through how to edit them. We're going to talk about video series. I'm going to show you guys how to start setting up your video series that is going to start identifying you with your brand. And then we're really going to start getting very clear as to how our imaging, our tagline is really going to start emerging from your brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start us off here, guys. I'm going to go on over to Facebook. Now, yesterday I had some issues with the internet, and unfortunately, guys, I hate to say it, but that's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles these days with the internet. So if it does get bad for me, and you guys can't hear me, just do what the other guys did yesterday and just either type it in or just open your mic and go, I can't hear you. And I'll slow it down and let it catch up because it gets a little goofy sometimes. But this is what I'm going to do, guys. What I'd like to do first is ask, I know that Sean's already written her story and she's done, I believe, Sean, you did your video as well. Now I know Nick, you said that you're a little behind, but if you, Nikki, if you've done your story or written it out or videoed it, certainly I want to hear from you. And if there's anything I can help you with, I certainly will do that. And then Myra, I know that you have done both as well. So is there anything between you guys right now before I start showing and sharing with you how to visually create your written story out that you guys want and need answered? All right. Is there anyone that, okay, yeah, you did post both. That's right, Sean. I remember you posting. It wasn't popping into my mind. I used you yesterday as an example. Yeah. Oh, did you see how I used you as an example yesterday? I reposted your post. Did you see that? Okay, no problem, Myra. All right. Is that me or is that you guys that's cutting out? Okay, it sounds like, okay, Sean, I think it's Sean. All right, let's see. What about you? Myra, can you hear me or is it Sean? Myra, can you hear me or is
I
it
can
Sean?
hear you.
Okay, so maybe it's Sean.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
You were going in and out, but I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's that happened yesterday. One person could not hear me, and then I could hear everyone, and back and forth. So everyone could hear me, but you were cutting in and out. So I want to make sure you can hear me clearly, Sean.
I can now.
Okay, cool. All right. So did you see how I went through to visually edit the start of your story?
No, but I'm loving it.
Okay.
I'm seeing it now. I didn't see that you did this.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't think it tagged you for some reason.
Cool.
Yeah. So so this is what we're gonna do for, especially for Myra. She listened to this yesterday. Is I want to make sure that you saw this because I'm gonna really show you guys how to make this really impactful for the visual appearance. And what happens in our stories, and I went through this yesterday with everyone. You know, I'm getting some massive feedback. Are you guys hearing that? I just feel like I'm talking to myself back and forth.
A little bit. I'll put mine back on mute.
Maybe, yeah, it could be you.
I'm going to put mine back on mute.
Okay, okay. I will bring you back out in a minute, Sean, and we'll just work back and forth. Sometimes what happens with it just one person's line does that, and I'll mute myself out when I'm talking to you. But this is what I want to show this because I want to share this with you, Sean. It didn't link you, but what we did yesterday is I had everyone look at these different stories, and when you look at the story, so let's see how we started off. Sean's was you started off down here, okay? Okay, I stopped here. So basically, when we're looking at your story, you did a great job by breaking it up into paragraphs that are smaller, right? And that's really the idea. What happens is 20% of people, or actually 100% of the people, read about 20% of written content. So what happens is if they are not easily reading what we have, people skip over it because it looks too long. So there's a couple rules, and this is what we're doing. I started yours so you can go back and re-edit this yourself. But what I did is I started re-editing for you, and every story has to have an appealing headline. So what I did is I created this headline that really talks a little bit about your story, how a Detroit girl takes control of her destiny. Now, of course, you can change that, but it always wants to include really the crux of it. And, you know, like this morning, I wrote one for Brian, and it was how corporate engineer turned internet marketer and now travels the world and surfs the best waves, right? So it's like, wow, it really wants to appeal to your customer, okay? So we could have even changed this a little bit because I know you do you know, some different things, and you did some, you know, you have your current job now. So you could be how Detroit girl, you know, it can just explain more, or it can maybe be how I mean, look at your story again. Let's see, how Detroit girl dropped plan B, right? Or something that relates to what your story's about. Now, so we always want to have a headline. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to make it visually appearing by using pictures, because we have to, there's some rules on picture and imaging. But most importantly, it comes to this headline. Okay, so you want to have your story have a headline. Then what we have to do, guys, is we want to make our, when we're writing our stories, we want to make, of course, these little paragraphs digestible and easy to understand and read, right? So these little ones, yours were decent, but we break them up even more. They can be better. Okay. So now when you look at this, like this whole Born stuff, 1993, yeah, that's decent, but people can literally scan that so quick they don't even need to read it, right? So they're like, okay, yeah, okay, decided Key West, okay, pops up Key West, islands, all right, plan, okay, this plan with quotation marks, right? So you want to make stuff that sticks out. And then these little one-liners are one of our most important pieces we can create with our story, because what it does is it takes everyone's eyes. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Let me know if you missed anything, because you can jump out at any time. Just interrupt me, because if I'm not reading what you guys are typing. And so there are certain rules when it comes to creating using imaging, right? And I'm going to show you those rules. But most importantly, it's when it comes to breaking up these paragraphs. So basically, we use almost a 1, 2, 3 rule. And what we do is we break up the most important pieces that could be, they catch the eye, but what they do, they also create an idea of what's coming up next. And so it's got to be interesting, right? So here we go. We're going through, reading this. It's like, wow, life was amazing living in the island. So like, wow, she lived in an island. Most people don't live in an island. So they're going to want to read a little more, right? So you write a little bit more here, and your writing was great. You did a good job. And there's some of the stuff, it may not be as important, but it doesn't matter. You're really getting it out there. And you're creating the crux, because what we do is we start who we are, kind of the vulnerability, what we went through, and that rise and that fall, or that triumph, right? That I was sick of this. And, so you go through that tough time, and then you share, but then I had this triumph. I had to take control, and this is my solution. And you did a great job with that. So, but what we need to do is you want to break this up. So life is amazing, right? And you space it out, this one liner. And then unfortunately, people really love to see negative stuff, right? They love the tough stuff, right? And so I love this when you put their demons, right? They hide their past from their demons, right? And this one is awesome. And so I broke this up. So people are like, they're demons. Ooh, she's talking about demons. I want to hear this, right? So now we're back on this 1, 2, 3, right? Demons. And then you talk about, you're really bringing up really the relationship, the ride that you went through, right? In the hard times, right? You went from demons to verbal and physical abusive relationship and mental chains. You're using good words that other people have probably had problems with, right? So here we go. We're like 1, 2, 3, boom. Now, so I finally had it and said enough. So this is like, you want to show the vulnerability, the problem, and then it's like, bam, I took control. Because when we're writing our stories, guys, what you're going to find when we start sharing how you write your video series or how you write your post series, all of them have to have that. I had to do something better, or this is why I didn't want to put my kids in daycare. I was sick of corporate, right? You've got to show people, you've got to write in, you're answering the questions that these people probably have, right? And the problems that they've got. So you finally had enough. And then you talk about how I'm in my 30s. I finally decided to do this. And Key West really, wasn't my home. And you start moving forward, and it's like, it was time to move on. So like, wow, this is a story. So can you see how when I go from, so I finally had enough to it was time to move on, people don't even have to really read this, but they're going to get it. So what we do is we break it up in a way that makes you want to keep reading on, because they didn't even have to read this whole thing, but they're like, it was time to move on. Okay. So they're like, all right, New York, all right. And so I didn't break this one up yet because I want you to start going through it. Okay. So let me give you the next step here, Sean, of where you could go with this, or maybe I want to open it back up for you, and I'll mute it. But I want you to see how this is going, and then see how it stops here and it gets blocky again. Do you see how it can get better? And I'll mute myself out so you can unmute yourself. Do you see how you can make it?
Yeah, I definitely see it, and thank you for doing that. It really helps me kind of, it was first, the getting all in kind of in one area and getting your thoughts up. But this definitely helps. And visually, I can see how you're doing the one-liners and different things, and it helps a lot. One thing I think I thought about later too, when I get more into my New York stories, I probably well, there's some good things. There's so many good things that I could talk about that people can relate to. But sometimes I wonder, Rhonda, like when I'm talking about how they kind of sabotage my boss, if I should do that, like for the internet, because I'm kind of scared just, legally saying that, I don't know, maybe I should, because they did happen. They did sue her, but I'm thinking for myself, like, I know, like maybe I should not get that detailed with that because it's the internet and who knows, you know what I mean?
Well,
But
yeah.
it did happen.
Yeah, no, I get it. And then sometimes this is the deal. Maybe now, you don't necessarily want it. You don't use anyone's name because that's okay. You can talk fictitious. I've used stories about my boss, how
Yeah.
she told this woman she had to drop her kid off at daycare at 7 a.m. and don't think about coming back to this job if you left early. Right. So I use that because it's a real situation that people relate to. But it doesn't have to be about that person, right? It's so you can make it where a problem that others have in
Yeah.
a way that's not, basically downing someone. Whereas problem that others have, and it's not, basically downing someone.
Okay. So I see how doing blocking it's too much all one area. So I will work on, doing the same formula that you did.
Yeah, good. And what I would do, okay, so here we
Can you hear
go.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I'm just coming back on to make sure that you can hear me.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, because I need to wait for you to mute out in order for me to talk.
Okay, so then the one question that I have, and then I'll mute myself out, is at the end, I don't talk about the fact that I'm still kind of in, I'm not totally out of my daytime job too, but I don't really say either way. I don't know if that's something I should bring up or.
Okay, yeah, this is good. All right, so and that's okay because what you're doing, right? We always talk about being ultra authentic, right? So what you can put in there is, let's see, they could. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I can see it. So you're talking about some of the events, right? And to educate myself on online marketing. Yeah, finally, okay. See, this is good stuff you're writing. Yes, they were evil, but it was never personal. That's something that, yes, they were evil, but it was never personal, needs to be totally isolated. They let me go, her my boss. Okay, what I would do is you want to add a little bit more um, of the rise and the solution, because you're ending with like the company actually went as far as attacking her. Um, you want to end it with your big solution, right? So you almost that continue to educate myself, online marketing might be really your end. I don't even know if some of that stuff needs to be added at the end there because you're really closing with like the triumph, right? You're closing with ultimately I built an amazing team with my boss. Okay, then sabotage started. And this is what led me to Empower Network. In the meantime, I continue to prepare for the day that they let me go. And that's so you're showing what you did, but you really want to end on a strong story. Some of this may not be as important, right? That may not be as important because you want to speak in a way where people are like, wow, that sucks for her. But then it's like, but now I'm because let me see, this is an old job. You're currently in your job. So now you just want to talk about now I'm taking the steps forward to really building my personal future. So I don't have to be stuck or be at the um, at the effect of my boss any longer. And I would like to show you what the platform is that I'm using to completely take control of my life. So you're not sharing, you know what I mean? You're not lying, you're not sharing, you're showing, look, I triumphed. Now I found this, I'd like to share with you also how you can, to see that platform that I'm using to create pure freedom in my life. And then we'll give links. But in the beginning, we want to just kind of share and get people used to it. If you have a blog, you have your blog, you'll send them to your blog, so they can actually see it. Or at this point, if you have a landing page, you can send them there too. But do you see what I mean? How you will end with I found it, but this is what I'm using to create pure freedom, so I never have to deal with this again. Does that make sense? I'll mute myself.
Yeah, it was kind of, you were kind of cutting it out, but I do understand. And Jen, what you're saying is I need to, okay, so I'll edit this story more at the end, like how you did the top, and kind of edit, it doesn't all need to be there, but then also to build more of my triumph and then the solution at the end, and with either a capture page or my blog.
That's exactly right.
Is that
Yeah, exactly. Did you get that? Did you guys hear me? Am I cutting out again?
I did, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. I want to make sure. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So now what I want to do is, yeah, absolutely. And that's how every story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys in a minute because I'm going to be searching right now. This is when it drags when I'm on this webinar. So give me a minute. I'm going to show you, see my screen, and then I'll make sure you guys can hear me again. I'll start up because when I want to show you some additional stories so I get you all get a really good idea. And then I want to bring you out, Myra, because I want to use your good story as an example. And then we'll talk about our videos also, because guys, this is really the strength and the crux of everything that we're doing. And once we get these nailed, we had Jen in the class, she posted her story for the very first time. She said it went nuts. She had like over, I think, 70 likes and all these people finally asking her what the heck she's doing because they found that she was being real and not just sharing links and just sharing stuff that she wanted to. They saw her vulnerability and her realness. And she was amazed. She hadn't even had a blog ready yet or a lead capture page. And she's like, what do I do? So we want to make sure you guys get this piece. Once you get this, then it's all going to start becoming real easy. So hold tight. I'm going to search and open up the fan page. It's going to drag a little bit. Good job. Steven did his yesterday. Awesome. Okay, now, okay, good. So what we'll talk about imaging in a minute because imaging is ultra important. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to go to Myra's. All right, I'm going to go to Myra's. Let me see if you guys can hear me. Myra, are you able to talk? Because I know you got to get going soon. I want to make sure that you felt like we really got you covered today before you head to work. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I'm able.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Um,
perfect.
okay, so yesterday we shared Myra's and Jesse's pictures and their stories. They both wrote them just like you did, Sean. A really amazing story. They wrote them very well. And Myra, you didn't have a chance, I'm sure, to edit this, correct?
No,
Okay,
yesterday was crazy, but
that's okay, no problem. I understand. I will do what I did for Sean, do a quick edit to get you guys going so you can really get the groove, right? And I'm not going to cover as much with you, Myra, as we did yesterday because we covered quite a bit. But what I did want to share is because Myra got a lot of instruction. Myra, were there any questions that you specifically had about what we talked about yesterday within your story and how to edit it? Because, like I just did with Sean.
yes, I have a lot. The reason that I didn't make that my video is because, as you see, my story is very long,
Mm-hmm.
and I just put in everything over there just that we can eliminate the things that shrink in the way that is more appeal for the persons to get inspired or getting connect.
Right.
Uh, but the thing is, my basic when I started my whole thing on the internet is just uh, to link to change is the branding
Right.
and just that give it the inspiration to the people that don't be scared to make changes in their life, because at the end uh, something come up positive for everything that you do. And that is the like my vision and my main idea, just to inspire people to make that decision or make that move, and also to be positive. uh, the meaning to be positive all the time, that you attract a lot of things on your life.
Mm-hmm.
That is my main idea. I just put everything that I've been living in, maybe in the last 10 years, but I have a lot of things to talk, like a single mom, like right now the struggle situation on my job. But I sometimes I'm very scared of if I put something, because if it's for I mean exactly like Sean, I don't know how is the line that we can speak and we're not getting in trouble, because even that I wanted so badly to quit. I'm not able to do it. I'm not ready yet
Yeah.
to make that move. And also I know I have another situations that I've been branding myself for a long time in English, and now I have to branding in Spanish too.
Yeah.
And from knowing from writing anything in Spanish, now I have to start all over and speaking writing in Spanish, because for the whole changes in on Empower, and also they've been using me with other I'm with another group of girls that we've been making hangouts, and I'm hosting hangouts in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's gonna change my branding, and how it's gonna the people is gonna getting confused of now she's speaking in Spanish, now she's talking in Spanish. Um,
No, I
that
don't.
is what
I don't think that. I don't think you're going to create any confusion. I think you're going to be fine, especially the way. See, this is the great stuff. Is remember the new platform. It's going to be able to translate your stuff, so you can write, let's say, one post in English and translate it to Spanish using the platform, and then you'll be able to write one in Spanish and translate it to English. So you won't be doing it double. So
Okay, perfect.
I would keep your same. You can go
Yeah.
back and forth, right? We have one girl that I work with who's from Poland, and she now just does her posts. She does her opening with English, and then she'll or with Polish, and then she'll end it with English, and she just translates them. So I think you're going to be fine. Facebook translates as well. Don't worry about that part. I don't want you to get worried about your customer. Your customer knows you're bilingual. You're going to attract bilingual customers.
Okay, and the name that I don't need to create a like right now I've been using all the time Lean to Change, but I don't need to create something in Spanish that the people, because that's what I asking you for the fan page. I have a fan page in Spanish on
Right.
my name, and I have the fan page on Lean to Change. That both I have to be sincere. I didn't put too much attention on the fan page because that is the platform that I it's very hard for me to do. I don't know why. I'm very good on Twitter. I'm very good on social Google Plus on my followers. Uh, but fan page, I don't Facebook. I don't know what it is that doesn't grow too much my followers.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with because you're not necessarily sharing the information with the right people. See, fan pages, guys, are not, they don't just grow automatically. You actually have to work at
Mm-hmm.
them and invite people, create posts like your story posts, and share
Mm-hmm.
them with others, right? Promote those posts, boost the posts like they do in Facebook. You actually have to get yourself in front of more people. And um, there we have. I'm going to share with you guys a video. One of my leaders he created, and he went from 54 likes to 2,500 within like 4 days of how he did it. And it's when it comes to Facebook, it's really going to be a place where people are going to connect with you. But what's going to happen? You're going to be able to start bringing people from Twitter that you use to Facebook fan page
Mm-hmm.
links, right? You can just put a fan page link there too, or your blog will also link to Facebook. So you want to be able to share your story and make, if you're doing your story like this and you don't use Facebook as much, you can make it a blog post, right? And
Mm-hmm.
share the blog post on the other social medias that you use, like Google Plus and Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
And I have another question. I understand a lot of I've been changing also as soon as I started this class of the importance of the branding and just branding yourself and not a specific company. That's why I didn't mention in the whole story Empower, but at the same time, some of my posts I align I made. For example, the video that I post already on my page. Um, how do you deal with now that I am practical new? how that I'm gonna know. It's like a combination of not branding specific too much, but because you want that the people know you as you are. But at the same time, my only product is Empower Network right now, and the prosperity team. That is what sometimes I don't know how the people. And I'm not a selling. I don't like the pitching sales all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My market, I just want to be like. I identify a lot of your marketing, because that is my mindset at the end, that freedom, uh, give a hope to people, that type of line I want to go. But the selling, I mentioned maybe in 4 of the month, if I post something like a 4 times in the day, maybe I mention one way to or marketing, but the other ones I try to inspire message or something right now. And also there's another things on my timing during the day is more limited, that maybe I'm not able to show too much pictures of myself. That is more inspirational and motivational. That is what I've been dealing right now.
Okay, nope. All right. So you said a lot there. So I want to make sure I address this so everyone can learn from it as well. Is yeah, and you said so much. I'm trying to remember everything that you said.
I'm
Okay, when
sorry.
it's okay. When it comes to your fan page and your brand, I know you have Link to Change. I think it could be a better, more identifiable brand. I think it can be better. And maybe the name can change a little bit, because Link to Change is nice, but it's not really dominant. Okay. So we may want to start thinking of something that really can be, you can still use the URL Link to Change. You can still use all that, but we might want to become and start creating more of a powerful um, force, right? Where maybe your signature, and I'm going to share with you guys about hashtags, has a lot more, it's more clarity as to what you are going to share with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we can talk. We can start thinking about that. Now, then you also talked about sharing too much. Yeah, sometimes you guys, when you're writing your story, it is long, but you can tighten it up, because remember, you just started it. Now you go back and you do the same thing I shared with you how to do in video. You go back through and you read it and you circle the areas that are very important. And the other areas may not need to be in your story video, but they can become part of other posts or other content that you produce, right? So parts about your boss and your job and struggles and different things that you've got can become part of what I'm going to teach you guys before you leave, is having the video series, taking that content that's really important that people need to hear, but putting it in smaller posts and smaller videos, because your story doesn't always have to include every single thing about you, but it can really, you can tighten it down and use that in other areas of posts and videos. Like, for instance, when I do my story, it's a pretty good long story, but then I break out and elaborate on, not have, putting my child in daycare, leaving the corporate world, losing my bonuses for the sixth time because they told me I just missed it. So those are not all overly important things to elaborate on in my main story, but my core message is always the same when I'm talking about my story, but then I can add in other areas, right? Each week when I do my posts, I do one really good, long, and connected and vulnerable problem solving post each week that has a theme with what the week that I'm talking about. So it helps you guys. You're going to start organizing your mind. Whereas one week like this, you're just starting with your story now. Now, next week, it might be about um, the struggles that a single mom has for being with her kids, and you talk about different things each week. So you have a post, and then you do a video all week, the same a theme, and maybe you write one long post that really gets in a little bit deeper about wanting what you did for your daughter, leaving her and moving from where you lived to bringing her to the USA so that you can create a better life for her. So that's a longer, detailed section of that post for that week, but you don't add in everything from your story. So we start to organize ourselves each week, where you start off and you know what you're going to talk about. so you can start organizing what your thoughts are. Does that make sense, you guys? Instead of going so deep all the time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to want for you to do with this story is I want you to go back through and look at it and circle the most important areas, and you're gonna narrow it down, and then you're going to edit it so it's visually appealing, so that others can really visually see it. And then what we'll do is you will invite them, over to your blog. And again, if there's certain things about your boss or your job, don't add them in yet. Only add in what's important. You don't have to go in detail about your job or your boss. You are showing that you have a different solution. Some people that are still in jobs use the example where they say, even if they say, sometimes I've seen people say, I love my job, although I'm looking for additional ways to create income so that my family can travel to a better place or fly first class. So you're not saying you're quitting your job. You're saying you want to make additional income so you can do more things. So there's different ways that you can share it without saying I hate my job and I'm leaving my job. You can talk in ways where you're saying I don't want to struggle and I want to have more for my daughter. So I now have found a way to add additional income to my family's month so that we can do more each month. And this is the platform that I use to create additional streams of income. So it's not saying you're leaving your job or you hate your job. It's saying this is an additional way that I'm using. So now your boss is like, oh, you're making some additional money online, right? Or you can talk in ways that say, after work, I'm able to work 1 additional hour a day to add an extra income to my month. Do you see how it's a little bit softer that way? Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, good. All right. So we'll keep going this way, guys, because I want you to really feel good about this. But this is why I showed Myra's image, and I'm going to switch over to show Jess's. Is we all talked about this? A very beautiful background. It looks gorgeous. It's got a lifestyle, and their pictures are there. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a different one. I might scratch up when I start searching, so just give me a minute. Okay. Now, okay, Jess. This is Jess's picture. Now, do you see the difference in that? I don't mean your faces have to be right up in it like this one, but there will be a drastic change in how people click, view, and comment on your posts if your image is straight up clear and you can see eyes. This is one of the most important pieces when it comes to sharing on Facebook or on blog posts, whatever you do, to get more people wanting and seeing what you do and more identifying with you and your brand, is they've got to see your eyes. They need to see who you are, because remember, people, they don't know you. We need to create know, like, and trust. And the more they keep seeing your eyes and who you are, they're going to naturally feel like they know you. And this is one of the most important pieces when it comes to branding, how we continually really get up in people's face, right? Basically, the difference in Jess's and Myra's is people are really seeing her. They see this family, they can see the kids, they can see her in the image. And that makes a massive difference. We did a test with an image of us in the mountains, and we were a little bit farther away, but it was a gorgeous, gorgeous picture. And then one of our family's face right up close and personal. And we had over 80% more clicks and more views and more shares than we had in the other image. And it's because people need to see you, they need to know you, and they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And that's how you begin to really become more identified. So imaging is crucial. I know, Sean, you did an image in your last post, and it was decent, but it could have been a little bit better, right? It was the one that you held. I think you were walking, you had your headset in, and we can do one that's just really, that was close, which was good. But if we get it even more close where you're smiling or you really can see who you are in there, you're going to get more people know, liking, and trusting you, because you're sharing now your story and your vulnerability, and they are connecting with your image. So it's just like we do with video. They can see us, they feel our energy. The same has to go with when we post. And you'll find is that every time you put a picture with a post, you're going to get more clicks, more likes, more shares because people are starting to see who you are. So I pretty much almost put an image up almost like every every 2 to 3 posts it has a picture because I want people to connect with me. Now, did you guys on week 2 yeah, closer up photos. Let me switch over. I'm going to show you guys because Jen did one too. Okay. Jen did one too, and this was a great one. When Jen redid her story and re-edited it after I shared with her last week, she couldn't believe the amount of attention she got. Now, Jen's was good. It was edited better. The picture was good, but you know what? If Jen's eyes were being shown, I think she would have gotten even more likes. Okay? So those little touches, guys, make such a huge difference. And when you're creating, let's say, a fan page or in your blog, the more personal, more connected that you can be, people are going to start identifying with you, your face, right? They want to see you. They want to know you. That's what branding's about. The more you are showing yourself, your vulnerability, who you are, you're starting to actually brand you and your story more than it's just a post. People like to connect with people. That's why on Facebook, they love seeing images, okay? So when we're doing our story video and we're doing our Facebook posts, when it comes to our stories, we've got to get more connected, more close up, more eyes. And then again, editing it so people can visually see it. And then have you guys watched, I added in week 2, a video training on videos, calls to actions, and how to really set up your video. Have you guys watched that one yet? You guys can even type it in or just open up and let me know. I know, Myra, you're leaving and going in the car. That's cool. I know I asked you yesterday. If you guys haven't watched that video, it's a really powerful one to help you organize and understand calls to action. Because now, and can you guys hear me, by the way? I just want to make sure because you guys are quiet. Sometimes that means you're not hearing me. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. All right. Let me make sure, guys. Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. That's why you couldn't hear me. Okay, there's a video training in week 2. It is on calls to action and setting up your video. Okay, I want you guys this week, if you haven't, to watch that one. You log into Unstoppable Branding, or I'm sorry, Unstoppable Workshop. Okay, and you're going to go to week 2. Because what we do is this is going to help you guys really understand how to do calls to action in your posts and your videos. So I call, and you guys will refer out. When you watch that video, you'll understand. I call it my 3 to my 1. Every 3 soft closes or calls to action, you can do 1 hard one. So for your story videos, for instance, or your story posts and videos, your 3 can be, which is your soft. And if you like, and I'd love to share with you more about how I have found this solution to live free. Go on over to my blog. That's just a really soft call to action. Whereas when you're doing, let me see, you can see. Okay. Okay, cool. But now when you are, let's say, doing a video where you're like, I want to show you exactly the platform or the blueprint that I use to be free. Click the link below and go see it, right? So there's 2 different ways of doing it. You don't want to click the link every time below or go see this and give them a link every time, but you do it 3 to 1, meaning every 3 shares, you have the right to ask them to do something. So if you do 3 different, let's say, small posts on Facebook, then you can do 1 giving them and having them clicking a link, right? Same thing with your blog post and your videos. You know, you can share, I'm going to show you how to set up your video series, but you can set up a video series in the beginning with the first 3 videos of your 5 series. You're just giving content. And then on video 4 and 5, you start inviting them to do something. So what happens is you now create a following, right, that wants to hear more about what you're offering. Okay. And then people really start to rely on what you have to say. They're looking forward to what you're going to share with them. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys? Yeah? Cool. Okay, good. Yeah, awesome. Good. Because what happens is people then start to they feel good about it. You're not always going and click the link below. I want you to go see this. They get overwhelmed. So now what I'm going to do is show you guys another way for your soft 3, right? Not just the click the link 1, that soft 3. Have you guys ever used hashtags? Okay. Where you put on Facebook or Twitter, let's say, I do be unstoppable. Okay, that's my hashtag. Have you guys ever used hashtags? Let's see if you guys, yes, it does help. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Okay, let me share with you guys. Okay, awesome. I'm going to share with you guys a little bit more about hashtags. I'm going to switch over to my page, so I might cut out. Just give me a second. This is going to help you guys start creating also your brand, which I call as my closing signature. Okay, hold tight. I might cut out. Just give me a minute. So slow. Hold on. If I talk, you guys are probably not going to hear me. Okay. All right, can you hear me now? Make sure you guys can hear me so I don't start. Yeah? Okay, cool. Okay, good. All right. So this is the deal about hashtags. You guys are probably already using them, okay, which you said you are. But I'm going to share with you what it means even more intensely, because when you start to post with purpose on Facebook and your blog and your videos, people start identifying it. Now, the 3, which is that soft, right, call to action, where you're just inviting them over to maybe see your blog, or you really don't want to sell them anything or make them do anything, but you still want to post with purpose so people are following you, is we use hashtags. So hashtags, of course, if you guys aren't aware, what they do is anything that comes with this hash, and I use as my closing, which is my brand. You guys are going to start figuring out and defining how you're going to be branded with your signature as well, right? Which is your signature, how you close your videos and how you close every post. Mine is always be unstoppable, right? So what I've used now is my hashtags as part of my soft call to action. So what it does is hashtags, anything with this hashtag is going to now be categorized in Facebook, and it's going to basically put every single post I've got in Facebook in a category. So if someone now clicks on Be Unstoppable, they're going to go to a page that has every single post I've ever posted with Be Unstoppable. So what that's going to do now, guys, is I may not be using my links. So it's a tricky way to use hashtags and to get people to see my other posts and my links, because I, no matter what, on my post always put Be Unstoppable, but while also when I put my links for my fan page, or I put my links to my blog or my lead capture page, I also put Be Unstoppable. So what happens when people now hit Be Unstoppable, okay, I'm going to go there. They're going to go to the hashtag section of everything I've ever posted, Be Unstoppable, which is also going to include my other posts that have my links on it. So I'm still getting that double touch of people seeing my link. I'm just not asking them to go see the link and click the link. So hashtags you guys can use, it categorizes everything you do, right? So what happens now when people start to see your stuff, you guys, they are going to begin to get used to your posts having, right? Mine are Be Unstoppable, and I say Be Unstoppable. So the more they see this, it's still branding. Now you're branding yourself more and more and more because they're seeing the same phrase from you everywhere. And they may not click on your hashtag in the beginning, but they'll start. And then you guys will actually have all this inventory, right, or real estate online with your branded hashtag, which now also not allows them to see your other posts. So here I've got hashtags everywhere, but then when I actually want people to see See, some of these guys are using my pounds, right? Because they want it, they use my hashtag, right? Because they are, there's a lot of attraction there. So this is, people will start using your brand, but it's good because it allows you to see more of it's, of course, mine, right? Pound Be Unstoppable is everywhere. But when I really want them to see my links, they're going to see my blog links as well. So you guys start creating, I want you to start thinking about what can be part of your brand where it's your closing, where you're closing every video and you're closing every post with a pound. Okay, so this is going to be part of your brand. It's part of your tagline as well. So we are the Unstoppable family. Our closing is Be Unstoppable, and which is just the way that we close our videos, but it's also the way we close our posts now with hashtags, and it allows us to bring more people to our links using hashtags when we really don't even ask them to do it. Okay, so you guys are going to start thinking of a way that your brand is going to be able to be used everywhere. Okay, and so have any of you guys thought about what you might use as a closing tagline for video and for, let's say, your post that you can use with a hashtag? Do you guys have any ideas? Have you gone through any tagline stuff yet, and ideas what you'd want for a tagline? I know Myra's driving. Have you, Sean? You might be getting ready. All right, you guys will be able to listen to the recording. So, okay, there you are.
Have I done what? Rhonda, have I done what? I didn't hear that last part.
Have you started to think about what a signature would be to relate to your post?
I've tried a lot of different things, but now that this is so great and kind of tweaking my story and doing that, I don't know at this point if you had some suggestions after reading that, that's great too. But I used hashtags on a lot of different things, but for a brand for me, I haven't thought of one.
And that's fine. This is I want you to start thinking this way, because when now we're going to start developing the next couple weeks your tagline, and really even more so of what your brand is going to be is going to come out, and you're going to start really identifying yourself with one thing, right? Whether it's New York girl, whatever it is. I mean, have you started to identify really with what your core is going to be? What is your URL right now, by the way, your domain name that you use, Sean?
What do you mean, like all my different sites?
Do you have, or have you chosen yet what, like, we're Unstoppable Family, right? But I have all kinds of different domain names. Have you started to identify yet with what you want to be called yet?
No, because this is made me realize that I need to tweak it better. I have sites Empower Success Today, but I don't want to move forward with that, but I haven't canceled them just because I use them for subdomains and stuff. And then the other one I just recently got, just so I have my name, is just Sean DeCapo, or Work with Sean. So that's not specific enough. Now that I'm taking this course, I want it to stand out more. So for now, it's just those domains.
Okay, gotcha. And that's fine, because you still want to use your name. Sean DeCapo's fine to use, and the other ones, domain, I have tons of URLs and domain names that I use for websites. But when it comes to really like what you call your blog, right? Because you want people, when we're branding ourselves, guys, we want people to know, like, oh, that's, like maybe it's New York Sean, or, whatever you call, the dominant uniqueness that you want to shine through, right? And Work with Sean is an okay URL for lead capture pages, but it's just not your brand, your blog identity, right? So we want to start thinking about that. In week 2, I had you guys writing out like what some taglines that might be, that might really relate to you. And so if you haven't done this yet, I want you to start thinking about it, because Nikki, this is great. Nikki put empowered housewife. Okay. So if that's who you become, now everything, right, connects to you as this empowered housewife. Like what you do, you have to have a core message that comes from that. So you'll use then, right, you'll not only have your domain name, but it'll also close. It's 2:00. Right? Let's say you close a video, and I'll use you as an example, Nikki, and maybe it's go out and be an empowered housewife. Or, if your main customer is only housewives, you want to think of that too, because if that's going to be your main brand, then if your main customer is housewives, that's great. You want to stay there, right? So you'll use it. Go out and be an empowered housewife, or have an amazing day from the empowered housewife. You always want to end with that. So then now in your hashtags, you would then use pound empowered housewife, right? Every time you write a post. And then the day that you chose to put a post or blog post or your video, you will then put in your video of YouTube in the description, http www.empoweredhousewife.com, right? Or here, let's say today I chose to use I want to bring them to a lead capture page or my blog. Okay, this is part of my hard call to action where I want to send them somewhere. So I would still put Be Unstoppable, right? Because I want to use that. But then I would put go see my freedom blog here, unstoppablefamily.com, right? Today was about flowing, or let's say I did freedom the other day. Last week was about freedom. So I put see more of how I live in freedom, freedompreneur.com, freedom-preneur.com. So I use my URLs that relate to my posts, okay? So that people begin to start connecting me and my brand always with who I am, right? So here I would put Be Unstoppable, unstoppablefamily.com, right? So I want to bring them over to my blog more so than I just want to use the soft pound here. I want to bring them to a harder link, okay? So you guys want to start thinking about how you can not only close your videos with a closing branded signature, close all your posts with a closing branded signature as well. That's going to connect with who your brand is. Now, if you don't have it yet, it's going to start popping out very soon, right? But I want you guys to stay aware of this, of how you're going to use this across all marketing that you do. Your brand becomes who you are, okay? And including hashtags, it's a powerful way to bring more people to see your brand without giving them a link, all right? Okay. Yeah, rock on. Okay, good. So, because I'm going to actually switch on over to slides, guys. I want you guys I need to communicate this with you even more. Is before I show, I'm going to share with you guys how to create your video series. That's what you're going to start doing this next week. Is your video and your blog series will begin starting next week. And but before that, what I want you to really start identifying. This is how we get really clear, you guys, as to who our customer is and how we're communicating our brand, is really knowing who that customer is. Now, when we think about what their demographic, who are they, some people get lost. And this is how I want you guys to really understand is when you're shooting a video now and you're giving content, if you know who your customers you're talking to, your videos become so much easier to share and so much easier to shoot because you know the problem that you're solving for that one person. So for instance, my customer is, and there's not just one, I have about 4. I know who they are. So when I talk to them, I know who that person is I'm talking to and what the problem I'm solving for them is. And typically how I find them, right? How you will find who your customer is, guys, is you think about what am I? What do I like to do? Like attracts like. So what do I like to do? I like to travel. I want to be home with my daughter, right? And I want to be free. So my customers really are me, right? So in week 2, guys, if you haven't gone through really what is my customer, what do they like, I want you to go back through that because what happens now, right? I write down who are my customers. My customers are families. They're families, they like to travel. Some don't, but they're families, right? So I add on, if I talk about travel one time with families, right? That's another customer. Then it's corporate women that want to be free and be home with their kids. That's my customer. Corporate woman that wants to be home with her kids, but still wants to make the same income, right? My husbands are surfers that want to surf the world's best waves but still make money, right? And our other customer is really that just family that wants to be home and make more money. So I know who my customers are, right? So when I talk to a customer, I'm talking directly to them because I know the problems that a corporate woman has that wants to be home with her kids. So when I shoot a video, I'm talking to a corporate woman that wants to be home with her kids because I know her problem. So as the Unstoppable family, right, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to identify with my brand all the time, but you as a brand now talks to specific people. So what's going to happen is now your message is really always going to be related around those customers, right? My message, if you guys watch what we do, it's always related behind a corporate woman wants to be home with her kids, a traveling family, or a family where my husband talks to surfers a lot, right? Because his domain is six-figure surfer. So it all encompasses under Unstoppable Family, but we have specific customers now that we talk to. Does that make sense, guys? You have any questions about that? Because man, when you guys start identifying, you get your story written, you get your story shot in the video, right? You got your blog. Now, when you begin to create content in video series and post series each week, now you're talking to a specific customer every time. And when you see them, you know exactly how to speak because you know the problems they've got and how to solve them. Does that make sense, you guys? Questions come on out from there? Oh, you guys may not be.
Yes, that definitely helps.
Okay. So Sean, do you have a specific customer that you know who you're speaking with?
I would have to say, and it's good that you said that you had 4, because sometimes I think when you start thinking about who's your customer, you do get a little bit lost. And it's good to know that, it's okay if you have more than one because we like more things. So that helped hearing that. And I guess I would say, because I don't want to just have women. It's like I don't want to just narrow my target market to that. But I obviously that is going to be a big audience that I can relate to. So I would say corporate women. I would say people that want to travel. People that want freedom and still want the same income that they had. Those things definitely I can relate to. Single woman probably is a good thing for me to relate to and tap into as well. So those are the first things that come to mind.
Okay, and this is good that you're starting to talk about it. I want you to get really, really super clear, like really identify, because when you now begin to post with purpose, right? That means every time we post, we're actually sharing this to someone that I'm going to connect with, right? For instance, this morning, I did a post this morning, right? Happy Flowing Friday. I have my theme typically on my posts are I take the day and I give it a little, little happy whatever Friday. That's my theme for my posts. You'll notice every day, every week. Now I may create a theme for my posts each week that a video that all connect with the same theme, but today was Happy Flowing Friday. So today I was connecting with a person that really understands law of attraction, right? And they're really a connected person. So I write my posts talking to one person that would really identify and understand what I'm talking about, right? So today was a little bit more of just a flowing, kind of connecting, someone that understands law of attraction. Not everyone understands law of attraction would connect to this, but the ones that do, right? I know who I'm speaking with. Okay, so let's see. Last week, I'm trying to get through here without it scratching up too much, right? So here's a happy thought-provoking Thursday. My theme all week is my days, right? And giving someone a connection. So now, for instance, when I'm shooting a post, like I have a lot of videos to corporate women. I shoot videos and posts directly to corporate women. And I can only, okay, let me make sure it caught up because I was starting to scroll. When I scroll, I break up. Now, can you hear me? Make sure, because once I scroll, that's what happens. So I'm gonna, if you guys can hear me now better, I want to make sure you can hear me now better. I'm gonna have to stick with slides, guys. Sorry. Okay, good. Yeah, once I start scrolling, we get in trouble. So now what you're gonna do is when you know that customer, guys, and you start shooting now content videos, you're talking to them. All right. So this week, I want you to really close up your stories, get your videos and your story video for your written video or written story and your story video really sealed. So you begin to start understanding what are the solutions that you're solving, what is your core message. So now we can start creating a theme with our videos and a theme with our posts. Okay, because your theme is going to connect to your story, because those are the high points and the hot points that you've got for your customers. So I want you guys to really get clear on who is that specific customer. Like, who are they? It can't be generic. Like, oh, I like people that travel. No, it's who is that person that travels? Is it a single woman that travels, or or is it maybe adventurous people? Like, really get clear on that, because you're going to start talking to that same person. You're going to connect with them. We attract the same type of people all the time. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a little bit here how I know you had mentioned, Nikki, of housewives. Heather, I worked with Heather, and I still work with Heather. She was one of my first branding students, and she went from really, generic internet is my oyster to the housewife of success. I believe I showed you guys this before, but she doesn't exclude men, but she really targets directly to housewives. And it's being home with kids, working from home, retiring her husband, but she's now has men that share her stuff with their wives, because she's not excluding men, but she always talks to the solution that women have or the problems that women have, so she can offer a solution. So you want to think in those terms, okay? So now what I want you guys to do is this week, this is how I want you guys, let me see, here we go. Yeah, okay, how many posts, this is what Myra asked, how many posts should you do daily? Well, you at least want to do, in order to get interaction, you want to have 3 Facebook posts a day. Minimum, so you can get interaction, but you also have to make sure that you're interacting with others. If you're not interacting with others, you're not going to be seen on their timelines. Okay, that's an important piece on Facebook. All right, now I typically will do a video and a blog post every day, and I'll share with you guys what I like to call my marketing wheel. And when you watch that video in week 2, I really explain what the marketing wheel is. It's going to keep you guys so organized in the way that you post. It'll make everything so simple. You'll wake up, you're like, okay, this is my video series of the week, and you shoot a video about it, you do a blog post on it, and then you share it on Twitter, all your social media, and then you do it separate to Facebook. You will literally be done with all of your main posts and all the main connection that you need for social media done within an hour and a half. And how you do that is you're going to now start to create what I like to call what a video series is, guys. And how we do that. All right, so this is how we start a video series, okay? What you're going to do is you have 2 themes. You have one is our, we have a video series, okay? And then you're going to have a post series, okay? Now, this is going to be really simple for you guys, because literally it's going to keep you really connected each week, each week on, Sunday night or Monday, right? You think, what is my theme for the week? Okay, and you're going to do a post from Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. Okay, some people do a special Friday thing, right? Whatever it might be. So you can do a theme, and what you do every Sunday, you're like, okay, am I talking about freedom this week? All right, and if it's freedom, okay, if you have a specific customer, right, that you've got, then you're going to talk to these women, right? Freedom. And it's going to be solutions that you've got for women that want to quit their corporate job all week. Right. And so it's going to be like all these different problems that you faced of how to find freedom. And it could be about the job, the boss, right? It could be about not having time to travel, but it all relates around freedom. So you'll do a video and then you do a post, all related around freedom. So now the whole week, you guys really know what you're talking about. So you might do a quick video while you're walking to work in the subway, like, hey, it's Sean, maybe we got to really get something really good and juicy for you, Sean, because the New York really rings so strong for you. It might want to be, I don't know, New York girl, I don't know, something. We want to really start thinking. Let's think of what is going to really relate to you. Because you're like, hey, like for instance, I do. Hey, it's Rhonda Swan from the Unstoppable Family. That's why I start every video, right? So it might be, hey, it's Sean DeCapo with, crazy New York girl, whatever it is, right? Something that is empowered New York girl, something that really relates, or like Nikki used is empowered housewives. And this week, so on Monday's video and Monday's blog post, you set it up. this week I'm going to be talking about freedom, really how freedom relates to so many areas in our life, right? And so you set them up, letting them know what you're going to talk about. And maybe this week someone doesn't really connect with your freedom stuff, but maybe next week you're like, I'm going to talk about integrity, right? Or situations that happen with your kids and how to raise an amazing child, right? Something that you just create a new series, a new theme each week. Now, certainly it can vary, but it keeps your mind in the right space. So now when you're posting on Facebook, right, you're looking for themes that have to do with your theme. Like maybe it's an image that has to do with your theme, or maybe you create a story about, how you see people every day walking to work like they're drones or like they're sleepwalking through life. And you use and relate and you connect to the people that you're talking to. So maybe it's, all week I'm going to be talking about this week. My theme for the week, guys, is going to be how to kick the rat race, or how to get your mind out of the rat race, right? It doesn't have to be leaving, but then you can do a video about, I walk through the subway every day and I see these people that hate what they do. I can see in their eyes that they hate what's going on in their life each day. And wouldn't it be so great to be able to the freedom to not have to walk through work every day like a drone? And maybe for you, Sean, you're like, I like what I do with my job, but I'm finding freedom. I'm looking for freedom. And so you share with them how they can have this solution for freedom, but you connect with the stories. Hold on, make sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me again? It was telling me that you couldn't hear me. Make sure, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Yes or no? Yeah. I need to know if I'm cutting out, if you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I figured I dropped, so I stopped. Okay, good. So what we do is we set it up all week, and then when you're talking to these specific people, this is why your story is so important. So let me rewind. Your story, written and videoed, is your crux, right? It's your whole core. Now, once you've got that core, that's of course going to be one of your main posts on your blog. It's going to be your About Me section. And it's going to also now be the foundation for all your content. Because now people are connecting with you. You're going to share it and boost it and promote it on Facebook, right? But now once you have your whole backbone of who you are, you're going to now start creating a series of videos that you do each week and a post theme. So you might do a video and then a post, and a video and a post. It might go back and forth, but the theme is very similar. So it's going to help keep your mind in the same ideas. So now when you can do small posts all week and then make one main themed post that you write that's a little bit longer, right? So that now you're really identifying and you're hitting some of these hot points of these people that might be sleepwalking through the day. And so you connect with those people. So maybe your customer, Sean, is, this corporate person that really doesn't like what they do and sleepwalks through life. And I see them walk in the subway. And so you can connect that story to them. And then maybe there's other areas of, of that week, of that theme that might be, having to be told by your boss when you go on vacation. And I want to find a way that I don't have to ask for vacation. And this is my platform that I use to do that. So then you send them over to your lead capture page or your blog. But see, you're always going to end with your pound, closing signature, and your videos will always end with, all right, go out. And from the crazy New York girl, oops, I think I dropped. All right, let's see. Am I back? Am I back? Yeah? No? Make sure here. I'm going to let it come back. Okay. All right, looks like I'm not going to get my audio back, so I'm going to complete this for you guys. Is this week, what I want you to do is I want you to go through, make sure you edit your story, make sure you really get clear on your story, and get really clear, guys, and editing your story, written story out. Now, then you're going to start creating now a new video series each week with your post as well. You're going to share it on Facebook and you're going to post it on your blog every single day. So now you're creating all this real estate online as well. And what you're going to do, guys, you're going to have a new theme every Monday through Thursday. So now you're going to start to identify really who it is that you are and how you're connecting with that specific customer. So I want you to go back through week 2's work, watch that video of call to actions, and then week 3, now I'm probably coming back. Now. Am I back now, guys? I know I'm just was completing this work. I was completing the recording for you. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, because it's pretty. Yeah, okay, I'm back now. Okay, guys. Oh, because I was just completing the recording for you guys. So what I want you guys to do this week is I want you to really start refocusing on your stories, shooting them and writing them out, right? Getting them edited with a picture, with a really close-up picture. You're going to post that. Now, it doesn't mean you start your video series yet, but I want you to start understanding how you're going to start planning out your weeks with the theme, okay? You're going to finish up week 2's work. Watch that video so you're starting to understand the calls to action. And I want you to really get connected to what is going to be connected to you. What is it? Is it like, the crazy New York girl or empowered New York girl, whatever you are, or, or freedom fighter or family, I know Link to Change was yours, Myra, but I think we can get more dominant. This is Myra from Linking to Change, or Link to Change is okay, but it doesn't quite say what you're going to give to them. I think we can make it better. And you're going to start now practicing using a hashtag, a pound hashtag, right? Start seeing how it looks and really getting connected to that, because that's going to become consistent for you. So then next week, when we really start identifying what does your brand really look like, we're going to start getting some visual appearance and visual ideas of what your brand should be looking like. You guys are really going to start getting clear as to, how people are going to identify you. All right. So I want you to stay here right now, guys. There's a lot that we went through this today. Are there any questions that are coming up? Because I know we had some bad mic issues, and I want to be able to go back and forth. By next week, we should be able to really interact. We're just in this hotel right now in Barcelona until we move. Are you guys? Do you guys have any questions? Because of course, bring those questions also to the fan page, so I can really help you guys get super clear. And as you're going along now, I want you to really start identifying how you are going to be portrayed to your customer. You guys feeling good about this? You have any specific questions? I know it's hard to do this when we're not interacting as much. Okay, awesome. All right, good. All right, good. Okay, good, you guys. You guys are amazing. I'm so happy to have this class with you guys on Fridays. We'll continue this. Remember, we also have it on Thursdays at noon if you can make that one. And I will still be there with you guys in the Facebook group, sharing and helping you guys really get this stuff nailed down, all right? All right, you guys, you know how I'm going to end this, right? Be unstoppable. Have a great week. Yes, Sean, you should be doing Subway videos. If that's where you're doing, that's where the most of your stuff is. People should get used to Sean with her arm out shooting videos and in the subway. Seriously, people will start seeing that. They're used to Sean's Subway videos. So start looking for them. All right, you guys are awesome. Be unstoppable. I'll send this recording out. Have a fantastic day and a great weekend, guys. Adios.